Our mission, the key things we're going to try and do, and this is where you all play a part. Our mission is first of all to keep all fires small. We know that we have a real challenge on our hands, but again I want you to hark back last week. We actually kept the majority of our fires small. To think that we went on Tuesday from an average of 100 fires a day up to about 250 to 350 to over 500 calls on the Friday, to think that we managed that as an organisation with our partners DSE and MFB, and we really only had at the end of that one major fire that gave us enormous grief. That we held the fire down in southwestern Victoria at Branksholme, that we held a whole lot of other fires is just an enormous result. So our aim is to keep fires small, because if we keep fires small, and that's about a really hard, heavy-hitting attack. Fundamental to that is firefighter safety, and I can't emphasise this enough. This week we are talking about, the main discussion is about houses lost and how many houses we lost. We're not planning, having to plan or mourn the death of a firefighter or the death of anyone in our community. And it's got to be recognised that people left their houses at Ballara and moved to a safe location and lost their house. And that is a perfectly appropriate strategy to do. If their house isn't safe and they've done that assessment and they leave it and it burned down, it is not the fire service's fault. It is a perfectly safe strategy to do. We would rather be talking about lost houses than lost lives, as traumatic as that is. So we're about our firefighters being safe and our community being safe, and our entire focus has to be there. There's another thing that we have to do in our mission, and that is to hold ourselves together as an organisation. Being, as I believe, at a point in history where we can say that we had worse fire conditions than we've ever seen in the state of Victoria, and we've survived it, it's important that we as an organisation are cohesive and stick together. You could use the term, it's important we stick fat. That means that everyone needs to understand that they have a role to play, and their everyday work in CFA is absolutely vital to us achieving community safety. Not to being firefighters, but to achieving community safety. That's the message. And we've got to continually think that's what our business is. And if we can do that, I believe that we really have something that we can talk to each other about and brag to our grandchildren, or even brag to our children. That's our mission. That's what we've got to do. In terms of executing it, rapid and heavy hit on every fire. That's why we've gone for the extra aircraft. That's why we want all our crews in the box. That's what we want our strike teams for. That's why we want our ICs right. And that's why we want to have you as people contributing as much as possible and minimise loss. And realise that if we get big fires, we will have loss. But in that loss, we want to concentrate on not losing critical infrastructure, not losing lives, and manage the consequences of the event. Like, we can lose things, it's managing the consequences of that that becomes important. And critical infrastructure is very important to us in that. In the administrative area, understand that there's a whole pile of systems and facilities and stores that people are doing their utmost to keep up, and that's really vital. And so when people think, oh, I want this or I need that, don't think it's unimportant. It's absolutely vital. Again, if we go back to last week, the people in the State Logistics Centre and the people in stores and the whole lot of logistics people just did an enormous job keeping up with supply. We may have to do that again, even though this is in one sense a one-day event.